One of the things that people are still talking about is the speech that Michelle Obama gave at the Obama's Presidential Center because it touched the hearts of Americans. It touched the hearts of almost everyone. And there is this one question, there was this one lingering question that everyone was asking. Why won't Michelle Obama become the president of the United States? Because she really took everyone away with this speech about Obama. One thing that stands out, or one thing that's still people are noticing, is that President Trump ain't nothing when you talk about Obama. When you try to compare the speeches that Barack Obama has ever given, or even Michelle Obama, the First Lady, right, you are going to notice a difference. I don't know how many speeches Trump will ever give. It can never be compared with the speeches that Obama gave. How compassionate, how kind, how he moved everyone with his speeches, and even Michelle Obama with the speeches. And people are getting to realize that there is a piece that is missing, and that is Obama and Michelle Obama. They are a duo that will make America run again, at least if it's not great. People are learning that they chose the wrong person. After listening to the speeches that Barack Obama gave and that Michelle Obama gave, they realized that this is what America is missing, and this is what America needs. I really don't know what you guys think about this, but honestly, I think Michelle Obama would make a great president with the help of Barack Obama. That's just my thought, don't come for me. Because I know things might get weird when it comes to the president that anybody decides to choose. But at the end of the day, that's just my opinion. So brothers and sisters, all these things white Americans are learning about President Obama and Michelle Obama is making Trump really sad. And that's why Trump will never stop talking negatively about Obama. Melania Trump will never stop negatively about Michelle Obama, because there is always something that they'll always have to say about this group of people. So brothers and sisters, I want us to watch this video, and then I'm going to be back with my thoughts and commentaries in regards to this.
Michelle Obama just brought down the house at the Obama Presidential Library opening, praising President Barack Obama for, among other things, winning the Peace Prize. You have to watch this moment that is going to go viral.
You were unflappable at every turn, always focused, always calm, always looking at the long view. How absurd it is to even imagine that you might have buckled under the pressure even once, lashed out in frustration, lost your temper. How absurd it is to imagine that you might have done anything but make our family and this entire country proud. No, you were too busy. I'm not done, y'all. Not done. So much to say. You were doing the people's work, rescuing our economy, expanding health care, ending a war, ordering the bin Laden raid, saving an auto industry, winning a Peace Prize. Keeping us safe from Ebola, regulating the banks, standing up for marriage equality, listening to science, and comforting an entire nation in the face of unspeakable tragedies. And you did it all with such grace and class and cool that you made the hardest job in the world look like a walk in this beautiful park.
Today is the grand opening of the Obama Presidential Center here in Chicago. Now, I'm not originally from Chicago. I've lived here for 4 years now, but I can definitely tell you I am proud to live here, for the most part. The former First family did not come to play when it came to the fashion. Sasha and Malaya looked absolutely stunning per usual. They have really grown into very nice looking young women. Michelle is the definition of I don't sleep in my clothes, nor do I sleep with them. One thing about President Barack Obama, he's always going to look very debonair. So many star-studded people were in attendance. Kamala Harris, Quita, Tom Hanks, Tyler Perry, Oprah, the list of celebrities who were here. I mean, hell, LL Cool J, Gabrielle Union, George Lucas is here. And the fact that some people showed up in tan suits. And if you know, you know. Former First Ladies Laura Bush, Hillary Clinton, and of course, Dr. Joe Biden. Dr. Jill is not playing with the girls when it comes to the fashion. Of course, former Presidents George W., Bill Clinton, and Joe Biden were in attendance. I really like their friendship. Like this group, I really enjoy their friendship. I really enjoy the friendship between George W. and Michelle Obama. And if you know the top picture, like, I don't know, George W., I really feel like the person he is now, if he would have been the person he is now then when he was president, because I was a kid when he was president, I think he would have fared over a lot better. I can't speak for everybody, but I enjoy George W. Michelle delivered a speech that if you didn't tear up, I don't know what to tell you. It was absolutely beautiful. One thing Jennifer Hudson is going to do is give you a tribute, and she is going to make you feel it. And she looked good doing it. I wonder if the AKAs did anything considering their headquarters is actually near the center. I don't plan on visiting anytime soon because the crowds are just going to be horrible for a while. I'm probably going to wait until next year. Comment below if you live in Chicago, if you plan on visiting anytime soon. My friend said there weren't tickets available until November. I don't know if that's true or not. And I was just like, my goodness. If you don't live in Chicago, comment below if you plan on flying in and visiting. They may be the former first, but they will be forever the one. I don't know about you all, but when I look at this picture, I can be grateful for what we had at a point in time. They may not always got it right, but I can be grateful. Anywho, comment your thoughts below, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Barack, you gotta look at me. You told me all those years ago that you couldn't promise me the world, but you could promise me an interesting life. And of course, you outdid yourself and managed to give me both. I know it hasn't always been easy, but there hasn't been a single second through this experience that standing by your side hasn't left me in awe. 8 years in the crucible, and not once did you melt from the heat. Not once did you let it harden you. Instead, you used it to reveal your truest essence, your stubborn optimism and unflinching courage, your dazzling brilliance and unpretentious decency, your ferocious work ethic, and absolutely unshakable moral fiber. And to do it all as a first, and the higher standard that comes with all that, the claims that a U.S. senator and constitutional law expert wasn't qualified for the job, the lies about your birthright, your faith, your patriotism, the outrage when you stated the biological fact that if you'd had a son, that he too would be black. Yet, you were unflappable at every turn, always focused, always calm, always looking at the long view. How absurd it is to even imagine that you might have buckled under the pressure even once, lashed out in frustration, lost your temper. How absurd it is to imagine that you might have done anything but make our family and this entire country proud.
This is what greatness looks like. Watch how former President Obama and Michelle Obama reflect on her mother, Marion Robinson, And the dress that Michelle is wearing, this is very, very incredible.
So proud of my husband. He's really messed up. I'm giving him some time because this beautiful skirt that my stylist Meredith Coop picked out, that is a portrait, my favorite portrait of my mom. He didn't know it existed until just a few minutes ago. Marion would have been so proud. She was so proud of her son-in-law and the man that he is and has been to our family. Always dreaming probably way too big, but always pulling it off. Thank you for doing this for the South Side of Chicago. I love you.
I am a little shaken up by this because I love my mother-in-law, and she made a home for Michelle and Craig, not with a lot, but with a lot of love and hope and perspective. They represent, to me, what's best about this country.
Check out that dress. Real classy. This is fashionable, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to start making dresses like this. I just appreciate how Barack and Michelle always find a way to rise to the occasion and show America what true leadership is. W. Barack and Michelle Obama.
You have made me a better person and have given us all an example that we should strive to emulate. And I hope you know, there is truly no higher calling.
Now be honest, could you ever imagine Melania Trump making Donald Trump tear up like that? Watch again.
Donald Trump is lashing out publicly today as President Obama's library is opening today in Chicago, and new approval ratings show that President Obama is far more popular than President Trump among the American electorate, and that has made Trump unhappy. Trump wants to seemingly beat Obama in any way possible, and while he's lashing out over the fact that President Obama's library is opening in Chicago today, I was supposed to be there, but I couldn't find a babysitter, so I'm here walking a baby instead. But new approval ratings from CNN have come out showing that President Obama is far more popular than President Trump is at this time. 57% of the American public have a positive approval of President Obama. Just 34%, just a third of the American public have a positive approval of President Trump. Just 30% have an positive approval of President Biden. Obama is far more popular than any other president right now, and doesn't make the current president too happy. We'll see how this continues. Spread the word, and as always, follow along for all the news you need to know about.
All right, everybody, we just concluded the opening ceremony event at the Obama Presidential Center here in the south side of Chicago. And let me tell you, what an event. I mean, President Obama's there, President Bush, President Clinton, President Biden, Bruce Springsteen performed, Stevie Wonder, Stephen Colbert was in the crowd, and Mark Hamill, who I ran into, fantastic, shout out Mark Hamill. There were so many amazing people in the crowd, and it was so positive. There was so much love and hope here, a completely different vision for America than the one that Donald Trump is painting, which is always just doom and gloom. And so, I mean, we can return to this America. We can return to one that focuses on science, education, and caring for other people. We got to work for it, though. And overall, just a great event, a lot of positivity in the crowd, and everybody was just jamming out to the music. It was so much fun. So I'm going to post some stuff on my story and whatnot, and photos and all that good stuff. But shout out President Obama, shout out President Biden, shout out everybody.
I am not immune to anger or doubt. But I do know this. When we lose faith in each other, when we stop believing that voting matters, that citizenship matters, that our collective voices matter, that how we treat each other no longer matters, then we give away our power to decide our own futures. We open the door to the most ruthless, or the most careless, or the most fearful among us, who see some groups and some people as more equal than others.
and see government as nothing more than a way to divvy up the spoils and punish enemies and keep those who are different in their place. I do not believe that is the story of America that prevails in the end. I don't believe it because for us to give up, for us to give in now, after all this country's been through, to cynicism and division would be a betrayal of our founding ideas, a betrayal of our faith. And I remain convinced that the overwhelming majority of Americans feel the same way. And since we're a few weeks away from America's 250th birthday, it is worth remembering just how radical the whole idea of self-government really was back in 1776. To that point, human history was a tale of conquest and caste and rigid hierarchies. A world where the strong dominated the weak, where power and wealth and status flowed through lineage, and the many were ruled by the few. But out of the fire and steel of a revolution, a different story took flight on this continent. A declaration that we are all created equal, endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that in the newly independent United States, there will be no kings or lords, no serfs or subjects, but only citizens, each of us free to pursue our own version of happiness and able to determine our collective fate through an elected representative government. It had not been done. And because it hadn't been done before, the success of this experiment was never a given. In forming our union, the founders fell terribly short of the Declaration's promise, leaving slavery intact, allowing states to restrict the franchise to white men who own property. But in drafting a Constitution and a Bill of Rights, they did have the foresight, the genius, to provide us with a framework that allows each generation to make our union more perfect. And over more than 2 centuries, through petitions and protests, marches and strikes, moral appeals from the pulpit, and conversations at the family dinner table, men and women from all walks of life, of every color, every faith, every region, took up the cause of democracy and made it their own, until we, the people, came to include not just some of us, but all of us.
Oh, I just finished watching Barack Obama's speech at the Obama Presidential Center, and I can't even describe how I'm feeling right now, but I'm gonna try. I'll definitely share my favorite parts of the speech after this video. But here's what I'm feeling right now, and it is a total mix of emotions. I'm hopeful, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, but I think most of all, I'm confused. That man spoke so eloquently, with so much heart and conviction, that it hurts that the American people chose the opposite of who this man is to be the President of the United States. There's no way that you can watch a Trump speech and an Obama speech and choose Trump as a role model for the future. I challenge Trump supporters to go and watch Obama's speech from earlier today, and then go watch a Trump speech. Tell me, who do you want your kids and grandkids to look up to?
Makes sense now, y'all. I couldn't put my finger on it yet, but when I say this, all of y'all gonna reflect and say, it makes sense. It makes a whole lot of sense to me now why Donald Trump was working so hard to, first of all, get his name put up on the Kennedy Center and to keep it up there, y'all. Come on, sip a little tea with Auntie. Let's talk about it. Why was it of significance that he have his name on some form of a museum? Because of the Obama President's Center opened up today, his grand opening. Obama name is on something. He had to fight tooth and nails to get it, y'all, but he now has this center in Chicago. That's what it was. Boom. This man has been out of office probably a decade now, y'all. Don't quote me, but probably a decade now. And he still lives in Donald Trump's thoughts. He has to beat him when Obama is not even in no race with him. Like, he done served his term. He doing great things in the community. That man ain't focused on you, not one bit, but you continue to focus on him. And that's why it was of great importance that you put your name on a museum, because you knew that he had a presidential center being named after him and opening up soon. Makes a whole lot of sense, y'all. Makes a whole lot of sense. He competing where he will never compare, and that man not focused on nothing he got going on, baby. Congratulations, President Barack Obama. Great things are happening for you. I love to see it. Congratulations, President Obama. Bye, y'all.
Okay, I'm standing in front of the Obama Presidential Center. You can kind of see it behind me. It just opened today. The event, which you probably watched on TV, was like a big party. I mean, people were dancing to Stevie Wonder. They were dancing to Mark Anthony. They're literally cleaning things up right now. But what it made me think a lot about, and I worked for him for 10 years, was just how many people felt downtrodden and didn't believe at the time that the country was ready for somebody with the name of Barack Hussein Obama. He announced he was running just months after the 2006 election when Democrats won back the House. There could be some parallels, but people didn't necessarily believe. Now, today was filled with people who believed. And one of the messages that everybody heard from him today was about how it's important not to lean into just nostalgia, to lean into and remember and wish for the past. It's important to look forward, and that it's not about one candidate. It's about the people and the power of the people. And that is something we've seen across the country, all across the last year and a half, but today was a huge reminder of that. So we'll be broadcasting live tonight, but here's the center in case you haven't seen it. That quote's from the Selma speech he gave, and what a day. Good for the soul, good for the veins.
I feel like I've been to the best church on the planet Earth. Wonderful words, good music, good acts.
I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to say something stupid here on live TV. The music, you think it's great, and then it gets greater, and then it keeps getting greater. Mrs. Obama and Mr. Obama, they must have taken Dale Carnegie courses, because, oh my God, speeches one actually listens to, speeches that consume you, that get inside you and cause you to think and feel like a lowly, worthless human being who has to strive to greatness.
Today, and we heard it the other night, that this is not about nostalgia. This is about the work that continues every single day. They said this magic thing. It said there are millions of us right now who are waking up every day and say, what's my job here? How do I contribute to the good fight? We would think that it's different. But the truth is, even if we're standing and waiting to get to higher ground, all we have to ask is the question of what can I do? And there's something that every single one of us could do.
Boy, if today was not a day of understanding, there never will be one. Did I make a fool of myself?
No, you were terrific.
All right, we'll come back later after I've had a couple of drinks.
You can call me anytime. We'll put you back on at any hour, any day on MS
God bless you. Keep fighting the fight.
Every time I see her and her husband outside, Michelle and Barack make sure them people at the White House is down 200 points. This is how I want it when me and my wife get old. Yes! Barack, you better be rubbing some feet tonight. Michelle got up there and spoke so eloquently and so amazing she had Barack crying out the corner of his eye, wiping out the tears. Yeah, making eye contact up there, and she basically told that man, job well done. That's what we need more of, It ain't about a Birkin. It's about the love and the foundation that we build. Barack and Michelle out here turned up today for the Obama Presidential Center, and I'm so glad, because they couldn't even get not one artist almost to perform at the White House, but somehow Michelle and Barack got it looking like the Grammys out there. They about to have a ball like the night they got the inaugural thing at the White House when it was nothing but the gang there. Huh? Listen, First Lady, excuse me, Michelle Obama. This was a wonderful day today, and this is going to be historic and be on every outlet today for the next week. And I'm so glad that you was fly as hell doing it, girl. I see your outfit, girl. Go ahead, auntie. I'm just here to bring y'all the news. White House down 200 points. I'm just a messenger.
Man, watching the Obama Presidential Center ceremony, I cried. I don't know if I was crying because it was just that special or if I was thinking about what we got now in the White House. Could have been both. But just to see them speak so eloquently with such intelligence. When they speak, they make me Google words. I'd be like, I don't know that word, but I want to find out. I love to learn. The Obamas challenge my brain. And for the people that's in the White House now, they also make me Google words. Because I'll be thinking I could have swore that meant something totally different from what they just said. And I'll be right. They be using the words wrong. Just the lack of intelligence.
I said, Menafin said, okay.
Watching that Obama Presidential Center ceremony, I felt the love. It felt warm. It felt familiar. But what we got in the White House now feels familiar, but like a nightmare that I had before. Watching that Obama Presidential Center ceremony felt like my grandmother's warm hand grabbing mine, making me feel safe. But what we got in the White House now feel like the touch of a pickpocket trying to steal my wallet. Bitch, get off of me. Watching that Obama ceremony, I felt proud. I almost drifted away, making myself believe he was still the president. And it was a great feeling for the moment. Then I turned on the news and the current White House, and the motherfucker was on the channel falling asleep again. Y'all, we had it so good. When I watched that Obama ceremony, I cried.
Obama knows how to throw a party, okay? I just got back from the opening ceremony for the Obama Presidential Center, and baby, it was a time. I'm Lauren Crawford with iHeartRadio. Let's talk about it. The Obamas pulled out everybody. The Roots opened it up. Jennifer Hudson sang the national anthem. Christina Aguilera gave us a beautiful rendition of What a Wonderful World. John Legend and Common reunited to perform their classic Glory. And Tim's had me dancing in public when she hit us with Me and You. Y'all, I was dancing. Then Bono and The Edge did City of Blinding Lights and snuck in a little Michelle, Mavel as a tribute to the former First Lady. And My Girl Smile lit up the stage. And one of my favorite moments came when Eddie Vedder brought out a bunch of kids from Chicago from this group called Guitars Over Guns, and they did an original song together. It was just so cute. Next up was my boy, Mark Anthony. He took the stage, and all I have to say is I get why Victoria was dancing like that at that wedding, because Mark put on a show. Then Bruce Springsteen hit the stage, and he gave us a stripped-down, beautiful performance before introducing Stevie Wonder, who got everybody on their feet. After Stevie performed some of his classics, he brought everybody back out. Jennifer Hudson, John Legend, Common, the whole crew for Higher Ground. John took a verse, Common hit a freestyle. It was just this big, beautiful send-off after a day filled with joy. So the center opens to the public tomorrow on Juneteenth. Y'all, it's amazing. Go and check it out. I had a good time. Y'all saw I had a good time. And I'll see you next time.
You know, every once in a while, it's nice to be reminded of what real leaders look like, sound like, how they talk, how they act, how they carry themselves. And at the opening of the Obama Presidential Center today, we were reminded of what we once had. Just watch this if you need a little bit of hope core today.
You always gave us the very best within you. And in doing so, you reminded the rest of us that we could too. Barack, there are no words to express how proud I am of the way you showed up and continue to show up every single day. It has been an honor to be by your side. You have made me a better person and have given us all an example that we should strive to emulate. And I hope you know, there is truly no higher calling than that.
Honestly, I really don't know what you will think about this, but America will one day look back and will say that we had the best president, and that was Barack Obama. Although I know not everyone will agree, because he also got some weaknesses. True, that we have to accept. He's not like better, but at least he delivered. At least it was better than Trump. It was better than Melania. But I was watching the video. People shared their comments in regards to this, and I think it's important for me to, share with you what people really think about this scenario. Somebody said that I was 12 years old when Obama won the election in 2008. I remember being so happy and so excited. And now here we are so many years later, a retired president and still able to rally and unite the country, even though he's no longer in the White House. Oh, how I miss the Obamas so very much. Somebody also said that President Obama, I live 4 blocks from the beautiful center. Wear walking shoes. After you visit the center, next door is the Japanese garden. Then walk on the block to the beautiful Museum of Science and Industry. After you leave the museum beside, I think it's trying to describe where she lives. And it's just a good feeling. It's just a good feeling. I think she lives in Chicago, if I'm not wrong. So next year, for me as well, I won't fight a Chicago crowd to get anywhere in the city, lol. My sister and I had to go into the city yesterday for an appointment. We fully expected traffic to be crunched all over the place because of the opening, but it wasn't. Michelle slayed, and we loved her. Right. Somebody also shared that we gave away our power to decide our own futures when we allowed the right term limit the presidency because they hated FDR and the love of American people had for him. I understand the reasons for the term limits, but the problem wasn't that at a popular and successful chief executive could be elected a 3rd or even the 4th term. The problem is that we have no real mechanisms to remove a bad president. How long was Justin Trudeau Prime Minister of Canada? How bad Macron in France? We limit ourselves and destabilizes to us and the rest of the world. The constant campaigning and turnover. The fact that a treaty or agreement that took years and untold man hours to achieve can be wiped out. Erased in a day by the next person in power. A fact that many of us, as an unsteady and an untrustworthy international partner, and made us a very traumatized nation in 2016. We weren't ready to let this guy go, but we agreed to that limitation, one that is not imposed on the other nationals elected positions. Maybe he didn't want a 3rd term. Maybe we didn't want him to stay. But the decision to make him leave at that moment in our history was predetermined. None of us had the choice because we limited ourselves. So please let me know what you all think about this, right?